Pastor John here. Hope you're doing well. During these days of COVID-19, we have sure learned an awful lot about how to do church on streaming and do a better job on radio. Most of you by now have probably heard that Governor Abbott this past Monday has released some of the restrictions on sheltering in place and have opened up Texas as of tomorrow. Today is Thursday. Tomorrow will be May 1st. And several restaurants and businesses, small businesses, will be reopening. And so we are grateful for all the leadership that's being taken place within our state. But now the question is, we haven't known exactly what to do because there's some things we were waiting for. And it looks like now some of those events are happening. And so we're now looking, how do we roll back in? How do we come back to church? How do we reopen the church? Well, I want you to know that today it's April the 30th. Actually, tomorrow's Thursday. Friday will be the day that everything's going to take place within our state. But on May the 3rd, which will be this coming Sunday, we are not meeting yet. There are still some things that we need to put together, some cleaning practices, some policies we're looking at, some procedures, precautions we want to do for all of our church to make sure we come back in the safest way possible. So we will not be meeting this Sunday, but we are meeting on Monday in our staff meeting, and we will put a definitive order together with phases so that we can let you know next week, again, what the day will be when we will try to gather again here in our church. The governor has had a phase 1 that he's opened up, and there's a phase 2 that will come a little later in May. We are probably going to be a little behind his phases when we look at our phases, but as we look at these ways of coming back together, we just want to do so with the safest way to do so for all of us that will be coming back into our places of worship. We love you and we miss you and we anticipate being back together, and the countdown has begun. I want to let you know that there are a few things that will be different when we come back together, because we're trying to find a way here again to be safest. One of the things that you'll get, there's an email that's going to be going out today and a letter that'll go through the Postal Service if you don't have email capabilities. But a few of the things that we're suggesting and looking at is we're going to be moving our worship times a little bit. We do know we will do that when we open because we need some additional time between our services. Presently, we had an 8:30, an 8:30, a 9:45, and an 11 o'clock service. We're going to be suggesting that we move to an 8:30, 10 o'clock time, and 11:30 time. That gives us a little more time for transition between our three services that we have. So be prepared for that. We hope that doesn't push lunch past too far for the group that attends worship at 11. It'll be 30 minutes past, but we can do so and help each other out by having a little more time in our worship space as we're making that transition. Another thing that we'll be suggesting is Bible study classes will not take place during phase 1. Phase 1, we will let you know exactly what that means next week, but Bible study will come back soon. But the beginning part of our phases will be getting our worship going again on our campus, and looking at our three services. And then soon after that, should things continue the way that we anticipate, then we'll put our Bible study classes back on campus. Seating is going to be different when we come to worship on whatever date it is that we express to you when we can reopen our campus. We'll be blocking off every other pew so that people aren't sitting right next to each other. We're going to encourage families to sit together. We're going to do all we can to provide a safe place for people together. We'll be having overflow. We'll be limited in how many people we can put in our worship center. And when that number reaches its capacity, then we will have an overflow that will be taking place in our Family Life Center that will be on stream. It'll be on screen. So it will be a step better than being at home, other than you have to get dressed, I guess. But come here and be around some others who will be worshiping in the same way with fellow church members. And then another, should we need it, another overflow room in the chapel. So we're looking to put those together. We're going to be highly encouraging the wearing of masks. I know nobody wants to wear a mask, but we're going to highly encourage coming to and going from our worship services that masks be worn. That helps us not so much in what we're going to get as much as it's the respect for others to make sure we're not giving something to somebody else. So those are a few of the things that we do know about when we come back together, what it's going to look like. Again, on Monday, this next Monday, on May the 4th, we will be getting together as a church staff and putting together our phases and timelines and dates, and we'll get that word to you next week. I just want to brag on our ministerial team just a little bit. This past Monday, we had a 2-hour meeting, and in thinking through how we come back, anticipating that Governor Abbott was going to open the doors a little bit to reopen Texas with our businesses and restaurants and those types of things, we knew that the churches would be right around the corner and what they're going to do. Some are opening this Sunday. Some are opening Mother's Day. Some are opening other days. We're still anticipating what that would be best for us. But this past Monday, our ministerial team got together and we discussed how we would reopen and what we would need to do to be safest for everyone. And I'm just thrilled that the things that we came up with as a ministerial team and as a church staff were exactly the same things that Governor Abbott suggested. So common sense really comes into play. We love you. We miss you. We anticipate being together soon. The countdown has begun. And we hope that next week we will for sure let you know what the timeline is. But just so that you know, we're anticipating the countdown and anticipating being together. But again, it will not be this Sunday, May the 3rd. And we hope that it will be soon after that. And we'll let you know next week. We love you, and we can't wait to be together with you again. I want to share just one passage of Scripture that is so meaningful as we think about how we do this and why we do what we do. In the book of Philippians, there's so many good books in the Bible, but in the book of Philippians, listen to these words that Paul wrote to the church of Philippi. He said this, he said, "Therefore, if you have any encouragement from being united with Christ, if any comfort from his love, if any common sharing in the Spirit, if any tenderness and compassion, then make my joy complete by being like-minded, having the same love, being one in spirit and of one mind. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of the others." That's what we hope we're doing as a Trinity family, is looking out for the needs of everyone so that we can all come back and worship together and to do so soon. We love you, and we hope and anticipate being together soon. God bless you, and we'll let you know next week more about the details. Thank you.